that cigar plus another cigar, so we're up to about 8,000. So we're going to be adding a lot of things to get that production up. One of the things that we're talking about doing is we're launching a new cigar for Adrian's called 30, which we've already started rolling and are going to be rolling out probably this fall, depending on when they're ready. That one's going to go straight to the brick and mortar channel, just like Mike's cigars. They're going to be priced in about the same range as the Cromagnon. So they'll have new packaging and everything else. The Cromagnon is really just to have a cigar line. We're at about 12,000 of a 50,000 cigar run. Starting in August, the cigars are going to have bands in boxes, and there's information on our blog about that. But the Connecticut and the Havana, we're talking about launching discontinuing doing those in Costa Rica, or at least paring it back to only service the accounts that really do well with those. And then launching a new brand out of Nicaragua called Intemperance, which is kind of the temperance movement. Intemperance is basically being drunk and disorderly, I guess. But Intemperance is going to have a Connecticut, which we've already blended, which is amazing. It's more of a medium cigar, but it's I think it's something, Mike, that'll be in line with what you smoke. It's not like any of these other Connecticut's out there, because we didn't want to do something everyone else is doing. I think Ernesto has probably kind of hit the mark dead on in terms of that mild to medium Connecticut. Yeah, this is going to be a stronger filler. This is going to be a stronger filler Connecticut. It's going to look a lot like the Cromagnon, probably come in the same sizes as the Cromagnon, maybe not the Corona. But that's going to be good. And then the Habano, I think we're going to maybe replace with a Corojo from Honduras. So we're really looking at sourcing the tobacco for that. That one may be a little bit further behind. But we got a lot of stuff going on. So
yeah, you guys sound like you're really busy. Well, you answered one of the questions that John G had. He said, "Are you going to be leaving it bandless?" And obviously, the answer to that is no. The Cromagnon will eventually have bands on them. Why don't you?
And that was a big debate. I mean, you put a lot of money into the wrapper, and the rustic kind of look of that wrapper. We talked about it a little bit. We've been dealing with every place that makes cigar bands. We've worked with them, and the problem is they don't produce proofs. So we've sent them the artwork. We've talked to them about the paper, the process that we want to use, which is a little bit different than normal. It's a pretty simple band, but it has a very specific look that we're going for. And to be honest with you, John, if we get those labels, if we pay the $3,000 or whatever to get the labels, and those labels come in and they don't look exactly like we want it to look, and we think it takes away from the what we're going for with the image, kind of the way the cigars look out of the box, then we won't ship them with the bands. Unfortunately, you kind of have to buy 40,000 bands to find that out.
Yeah, wow.
So that's what we're doing.
Well, I commend you for that. I mean, like you said,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
As long as the cigar tastes good and it's where you want. To me, personally, I think the band's irrelevant. It's all about the cigar. To me, it's not about the band.
Well, I think hardcore smokers kind of feel that way, because for us, it was really, like you said, the wrapper is the presentation, and so whenever you kind of add to that, you can go too much. And so we initially thought that we would go bandless for the whole thing, and then people started getting it, and and obviously it's a reason they want to identify with what they're smoking. Let's say they got a humidor full of cigars, right? They want to be able to identify what it is, and that makes sense. I get that. Right. However, you pull it out, right away what you're smoking, just because it's so distinct and different. Now,
and which by the way, may be why we put it on the foot, because one of the things, we're still gonna, once we get them, we're gonna mess with that. But one of the things that I am really concerned with is when you take the band off, when it jacks up your the wrapper leaf. So if that happens on the foot, it's less of an issue. Plus, it doesn't cover up the cigars much. So I don't know. We're still working on it. It's all part of the process. Is saying, okay, this is the way it's always been done. So let's, as a starting argument, let's say let's not do it that way, right? And then in some cases you say, well, when it comes to bands, there's a reason why that's done, right? I mean, a band or any kind of branding on a product is what adds elasticity of the price elasticity, right? So that's what says this is the product that you're buying. Especially now, me, I take a picture of every cigar I smoke. If you had a band on there, it probably would be, better. So who knows? First thing I do is take it off generally.
Yeah, the foot band's nice too because it actually helps to protect the foot of the cigar too from banging around in a shop or whatever. Well, you guys, now I can ask this along with that. You're keeping distribution you're only selling them yourselves, correct? You're not going to give them out to any shops?
Cromagnon?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cromagnon, yes, because we only bought enough wrap relief for the first 50,000-ish cigars. So, kind of a couple reasons. One, because we have a limited run. We didn't want to get it out there in stores and not be able to do anything with it. Two, because what we're doing is we're using the margins from this to fund our distribution center in Cedar Park. So, also because we wanted, more importantly, I think of the three, is we wanted direct connection and feedback with every person that smokes it. So, someone on Twitter says, "Hey, I'm smoking a Cromagnon." I know every single person that's smoked a Cromagnon, right? I mean, I know their name, their address, their phone number, their email. I've probably, Mike or I have probably talked to them at least through email. And so we get a lot of direct feedback. I don't know if you guys have gone to the site, but there's a feature on the site for product reviews, and there's been tons of really great feedback on there. I would say almost all of it positive. Most people, and we've gotten some constructive feedback, right? But a lot of that comes back to us privately. So, and we definitely listen to that, because if you don't listen to it, then it's not private anymore. Right?
That's right.
Now go ahead and give your cigar the website for that you're selling them from, and then give the website that you have for your. I think it's different, isn't it, for your blog for the Cromagnon?
Yeah. So our retail site is Have a Cigar Shop, HAVA Cigar SHOP.com, and on that, on the left-hand side, you can select cigars and go into Cromagnon or Adrian's. And you can also select under the lounge section, you can go in and to Smoke Signals and look at our blog, or you can go into our Twitter feed.
So one of the things that kind of what he was talking about is it allows us to really kind of get a handle on what our customers really value, which was one of the things that we thought that a lot of cigar shops have kind of let kind of go away. That customer service, that value, that there have been some shops historically, as soon as someone walks in the door, they know exactly what that smoker is looking for or what they come to buy. They go grab it, they bring it to the counter. That's part of customer service because they went out of their way to remember what I enjoy. And I think that's a really great example of customer service and loyalty to who keeps them in business. And so, we actually enjoy the feedback and talking and you really get a pulse on what people are, what's going on in the industry, what people are smoking, kind of like yourself. You said, yes, I'm just mild. Okay, next time I go into blending, I'm going to keep you in mind with things that you thought about or talked about with me that will, what is this guy kind of like? What is, because you're a buyer, right? And so that gives me a really good, when I'm blending and we're talking about blends, who would what's the target market and who is that criteria and how does that kind of, would they enjoy it? And we enjoy, because we're pretty active on Twitter and other things, talking to people and kind of getting an idea of where they're at and what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, we're currently right now, just so you know, working on a pale-skinned, long-haired, hippie freak product just for Tom and Mike. That's it. Yeah. Just for
and it'll have a My Little Pony band, right?
It doesn't get more targeted. Yeah, it doesn't get more targeted than that.
No. Let's go into. I got a question. Your packaging. Why did you go with the so-called, and I'm going to call it the bundle look? Was it to keep the cost down to the consumer, or was there another reason behind it?
Well, right now right now, well, I assume we're talking about when we send the 25 and the 10.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So they will always come in 5 and 10 because, I mean, what we found is that people really like buying in 5 and 10 quantities.
Yep.
And we want them branded, not just loose. Right now, the reason why they came in 25 count bundles is because that's the easiest way to get them through customs.
Okay.
If you send them through customs in a bundled fashion, they're easier for them to count if they open them, and so you don't have as much hassle. And the reason why they're not in a box right now is because the boxes just weren't ready. We released the cigars before. The cigars were ready before the boxes were ready. So we've already got the boxes kind of ordered. They're kind of in a backlog. Mike and I are going down to Nicaragua in July. The boxes should be ready. And so the cubes that we sell, the 35 count quantities that we sell in August going forward should ship in the box. And there's pictures of that box on. By the way, just so you guys appreciate it, that box weighs about 3 times as much as a normal box. So getting it through customs, we pay a shitload of money for wow. just to get the fucking box through customs is another $7, right?
Now, is there a reason why you made it heavier?
Yeah, because we're selling it in 35 count quantities, so we wanted to be something that
keepsake.
Yeah, that you keep. And I'm a huge believer in Boveda's product, and there's a lot of people who don't buy in quantities because they don't have the humidor space. And so this is one of those deals where it's not a humidor per se, but if you were to take a humidipack and put it in there, it would keep those cigars in good shape, right? If you were to take half the cigars out, put a humidipack, put them back in, put another humidipack on there, I mean, they would be as good as if you put them in a travel humidor. So the box is substantial because we think the cigar is substantial, but not Gurkha substantial.
All right. Well,
it's supposed to. The box is supposed to look like something you would find in the back of the warehouse in Indiana Jones that was dug up, and stored. I actually have gone to the University of Texas here to the anthropology department and found like what kind of labels they put on the archives that they bring back, like the bones or whatever, and we're putting a label in the inside lid of the box that looks like that. So
nice.
I mean, for a couple of cigar smokers, we've gone a little overboard with this whole thing. So
well, you're thinking outside the box.